Humanity has come close to oblivion more times than what people realize. A lot of the time, it was the actions of a few men who saved the world from total annihilation. In other instances, nature showed the full power of what it can unleash against humanity. Here are 5 times when humanity has come close to extinction. And number 5 is the 1980 June 3rd computer glitch. This was the result of a 46-cent computer chip malfunctioning, causing the system to indicate a massive nuclear attack of 200 nuclear weapons being imminent to attack America. The National Security Advisor was called, and NORAD convened a threat assessment conference. Air Force bombers were preparing for launch, and it was only after the glitch was discovered that the threat was determined to be false. Coming at 4 is the 1983 Soviet false alarm. The Soviet Union and the United States were at the height of tensions during this period, as the United States continually unnerved the Soviet Union through demonstrating their nuclear capability in response to the Soviets deploying new nuclear weapons. This led the Soviets to shooting down a plane carrying 269 passengers after the plane entered Soviet airspace and left both countries on edge. Just 25 days after the shooting down the plane, a nuclear alert was issued to a Russian nuclear bunker, where Stanislav Petrov was in charge. He decided that the computer was showing an error, even though the attack was confirmed in all ways other than visual confirmation. It was determined that they only had under half an hour to make a decision. Sometime later, 4 more missiles were identified by the computer. Petrov once again believed that the missiles were an error due to nothing else than his own belief that it was, since no visual confirmation was actually being given by the satellites. Some believe that this incident was the closest the world ever came to nuclear war, and it was only due to the actions of one man, who they now call by the nickname the man who saved the world, that a nuclear exchange was avoided. At 3 is the Norwegian rocket incident. A Black Brant 12 missile had been launched for scientific purposes from the Andøya rocket range in Norway. While the notification had been sent to Russia of the upcoming scientific rocket, radar technicians had not been notified and interpreted the launch as a possible nuclear EMP attack from the west. This was also because the rocket was travelling at the same range as a Trident III missile would if it was launched. Because of this, Russia went into full alert and the nuclear briefcase was activated for the Russian president, Boris Yeltsin. It also took 24 tense minutes for the Russians to realise that the missile was not nuclear. This incident is the only time the nuclear briefcase has ever been activated and prepared for a nuclear-armed country. What makes this incident even more disturbing was the date it occurred, January 25th, 1995, a full 4 years after the Cold War. A nuclear exchange was still possible even at this time. Coming in at 2 is the Toba supervolcano eruption that occurred 75,000 years ago, which is suspected to have left as little as 3,000 humans alive. This was the moment in history where humans came the closest to extinction after a supervolcano erupted in Sumatra, Indonesia. The eruption left a 6 to 10 year volcanic winter and cooled the earth for 1,000 years. The reason for the sharp decline in human populations may have been due to the lack of food in the resulting global winter. And number 1 is the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is the closest that modern human civilization ever came to total annihilation. At the height of the crisis on October 27th, a nuclear-armed Soviet submarine had depth charges fired at it while the occupants were inside and were running out of air. The commanders on board broke out into argument. Unable to surface, 2 of the 3 commanders argued to prepare their nuclear missiles. It was only due to the disagreement of Vasily Arkhipov that the nuclear war was averted. He argued that the only valid option was to surface. Vasily potentially saved the world from nuclear war on that day. These incidents show how close civilization has come to destruction on many occasions. Our species has danced with death on multiple occasions, and usually it is due to the actions of a few men that the world has been saved. How we learn from their actions is important to our survival as a species. So until next time, thanks for watching.